Welcome to Factorio Masterclass. My name is Nilaus, and we are today going to take a look at one of my absolute favorite things in the game, the LDS shuffle. That is the low density structure that we are looking at here, and it has like this weird, peculiar, abusable feature that if you only have legendary plastic, then you need normal molten iron, normal molten copper, and then you get legendary low density structures. So that means we actually just need to get here for this recipe 5 legendary plastic will then become 1 low density structure. But it gets better than that, because low density structure also has this really nice feature. You look on the right hand side, this says productivity equal to 300%, which is the maximum, which means that as you build one of these, you spend 5 plastic and then you get 4 low density structure out of this. When you then recycle 4 low density structure, you get 5 plastic. That means if you have a cycle such as this that goes back and forth, then you're actually in a situation where you don't need to feed it plastic at all. That means it is actually completely free, because the plastic, you will get exactly the amount of plastic you need going back here. So basically, what's the point of all this? Well, the point is that when you take some, oops, not like this, but like this low density structure, and put it in here, you actually get some legendary plastic, which goes back and starts the next cycle, but you also get legendary steel and legendary copper. So this is how we make infinite silly amounts of legendary copper, and also a very high sustainable amount of legendary steel. Now this all looks great, but it's actually a little bit more complicated, because the complicated part about this build is actually the vast quantities we need mean that we will get a silly amount of copper. Like, for example, 1 craft here of plastic will make 4 low density structure. 4 low density structure will deconstruct into 20 legendary copper. And there's just no way we need that much copper. So we need to get rid of the copper in an efficient way, which is not easy. And we need to be able to recycle this pretty fast. And also because this needs quite a lot of molten iron and copper, mainly the copper, then we also need to make sure that we get rid of the stone pretty efficiently. So it's actually more getting rid of stuff than it is actually building stuff that will be the challenge for this build. But let's dive in and build something here. I think we're going to be starting with builds such as this, and I'll just flip it so that they are matching. There, that's a good start. And let's also do another one. 1, 2, 3. And let's get a beacon in here. We'll set that here. And this will be our baseline. So the baseline is 71 legendary low density structures per second at the cost of 88. Now this is an intimidating amount, but it doesn't really matter, because by deconstructing this part, we'll also get this 88 back again. So it just needs to be seeding it, and seeding it is actually really easy, because if we get legendary plastic, we can get that from our space casino that we built in one of the previous episodes, or we can get it from the legendary red circuits that we built in the previous episodes. So there's definitely easy ways to get this. Now we need to find a way to get these out, and it's not super easy always. This one should be, let's do this and this. Yeah. And that will then go out here. Good. And the other one will be just take in the middle. And then we're going to get a intersection here, because you're going to do that one, and here. So this will now get us to 70 per second outbound. Good. This is pretty easy. Let's get this one in here so that it's available. Right. We need to get plastic in as well. So I'm going to get plastic from this side. It should be, again, easy. There. That gets us the plastic inbound. So if we get plastic inbound and we get some, I guess this one comes from here. Okay. So now the next part is, let's make some, actually I need this. There, there, and there. Let's move this a little bit up to the side. Okay, so what do I need? I need one of these being the iron one, and then need all the other ones to be the copper. That should be enough. And I need to make sure that I also have the power. So that's going to be here. Let's see if this is going to fit. Yes, we have enough. And we don't need to put any beacons or modules or anything like that, because ultimately it's just using lava. So we're going to get the lava from, yeah. Actually, I actually think I want this to go here. There. And lava is in the middle. There. So lava comes in. Like, this build seems pretty simple, but it gets more complicated as we start seeing all of the issues we have with this. Now we need inputs for here, for the calcite. That's the usual thing. Calcite. Yes, let's make 100. Good. So this is for calcite, and this one is also calcite. Oh man, I hate these connections that go down here. They are so annoying that they insist on this. There. Right. Now, usually I would make this in here, but if we look at how much we're actually getting, 370, which is more than one belt. So, what if we just delete it like this? That's obviously not going to be enough. And then here, lava, and then we get this one, which then has to be like that, right? And here. Good. So that gets the everything where we want it. The only thing we need now is to get some lava in, and then we'll see if it works. And then we also delete up here. Okay, so what is not working? Push. You get in here, push. Yeah, plastic is of course not working. So let's get the plastic in here. And that's of course legendary plastic. And that's how you get this. Alright, so now we have like the main module that we're looking at. And we can see that this is not able to handle all of it. We actually need 2 belts out here. So yeah, I'll ignore that for a second, and then I'll come back to that, because this thing here is actually going to be put into lava. That's important, and that will be how we get rid of this. So let's move on with the next part, and that's the deconstruction. So we got this part up here, and now we need to deconstruct it in a good way. So we don't need to get any quality or anything like this. So we can just do something like this here. And we can put a beacon, because it needs to go fast. There. And I will need the stuff that we have already done a million times already. This little box here. There. There you go. This little box is basically saying anything that's over 16 gets output, so that it there and there. Good. We're gonna go out. And there we go. So that goes out here. And this thing goes here and here and here. Yes, we need this much. And I also need there. Okay, so now I need to bring this back, and I'm gonna do it this way, which is not super ideal. There. Guess you can do it like this. Let's make it down here. Good. So now what we have is we are going to each of these, they will be almost exclusively copper. And let's filter out the copper, because the first thing we want to do is just take only here, take only the copper, because that needs to go into a box. So this will be like the first one. Let's do this. you're gonna just take, this will be all the copper we need. Now, don't care about it. Anything that moves on, all the copper that moves on, I just have to trash it. There. And that means this is the trash copper that we have. And that will just go deleted. Because that will be a headache for another day. I'm gonna get you up here. This will be a mixed belt. Down and here. Then I can filter this and say, okay, the steel, the legendary steel is another thing that we want. And that comes out here, and then we get basically like this, but legendary steel instead. There. And that means this one will be the plastic. And that's great-ish, but it's not complete because we have been here before, right? Also, why is this one not moving in? Oh, it's because it's stuck here. Okay, hold on. That's we'll just do this. There we go. Now it's flowing. Right, so this will not necessarily work because we've seen it before with these random chances. Sometimes we get too much, sometimes we get not enough. What we need to do is we actually, and are you prepared? I am actually going to use a, maybe not a legendary one, but we're going to use one of these. And then we are going to get here. And this will output priority on this belt. But any excess will go into this box, which will then go out and merge in here, right? So if it sort of runs out, then we need this to top up. And the way I'm going to top this up is to say, I'm going to get this. Let's get it to 1000. But then also say, if it's more than 4000, then just eject it. Right, so anything that's more than 4000 goes out, and anything that's less comes in. And this one, well, we'll just get what we need. This one is if we have the plastic, legendary plastic in inventory or in the logistics network, then we'll make sure that we have somewhere between 1000 and 4000 sitting in here. That will just guarantee that this is always circulating, because right now we're actually low on this, and that means we don't have enough. So I'm just gonna go like this, and we can see that we're gonna get stuff in here, and that will help to make sure that all of it is flowing. Good. The issue now is that we simply can't get rid of the stone fast enough. And we also have to get rid of this amount here, which is a significant amount once this one fills up. So right now we have a lot of trash. I am deciding that I don't think there will ever be a chance where we have full steel and need more copper. I just don't think that's viable. I don't think that's a realistic scenario, because it's like a factor 1 to 10. And we need more steel than copper generally, so I'm never going to make the contingency where we have this box is full and these ones are empty. I'm just ignoring that because I don't believe it's ever going to happen. Now we get to the more difficult part of this design, also the more interesting. So what if this could go into lava and this could go into lava? Then we have a nice little puddle of lava here. We might even be able to throw more stuff into the lava. Wouldn't that be cool? It would indeed. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this out. And then I have prepared a little blueprint. It's called a lava maker. It's here. It puts this in. And then as we speed up time, we will see this. Once this one gets to 900, then we can blow it up and it'll make lava for us. This is a very specific place this is placed. If it wasn't placed here, it wouldn't work. So this is now 1000 degrees, and we're going to be shooting a little shot at and run away. Yeah, some things got lost. Then we're going to take our previous design. We're going to go back to editor mode so it's easier. And then it gets a little bit complicated, because we now need to figure out what is a good location for placing this. I want this one out here. And I think this might be the best location. So I'm gonna just... Cannot build in lava. Yes, you can. You can absolutely build in lava. I'm force building. Why is... Oh, there we go. Force build works. Good. Why? It works. So what do we have now? Now we actually have an opportunity to go out here and say, you know what? Just delete this. This one will just have to be some of these just to make sure. There. So that will eject. We can even do it better than this. We can do this part here. And you can also eject, because the problem is this and this are not actually able to eject fast enough. So by doing this, they will actually be able to be fast enough. So we put stuff on the belt. These two are outputting. They can output, this is 101 each, and we need to put something out here, and then some of the belt, and then we do this. Then we need to build something here. Yes, like this. And that will be like, we need 6 of these. And let's see, one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. So this gets rid of all of the stuff we need here. This also means that we can actually use, not just can, but should use this for our source of lava. That means we're not going to be taking lava in from down here. We're actually going to take it up from here and get it gracefully in here. And then we need to figure out how many we need. And it's going to be 1, 2, 3. And I'll be taking this one. But legendary. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. That should get us what we need. And these ones don't exist. Nope. There. And each of these are producing 3,000. So this will be 9,000 in total. And this one is using 9,063. That's, I'm going to say that's fine. There and there. So now we have actually the whole thing set up. And we can see that this one is no longer getting jammed with coal, with stone. These are not jammed with stone at all. We're getting enough inbound to keep these flowing. That's great. And the whole thing is moving around. This one has maintained, or is kind of maintaining this. And it'll gradually, what is not working? Yeah, it's the plastic not coming in. It does take a little bit of time to just get this plastic feeding in here. Why is it not working? You are not getting... let's see. Right, these ones, they're not here yet. Okay. So we just add this also close by. There we go. That should help. So it's just running out. Maybe we need more of this because they are using 5 per second. Okay, so that might actually be potentially be a bottleneck here. We'll keep that in mind, and just probably increase that to 200. There, good. Because we want to see this when it's fully operational and just running all the way around here. Now, you might have noticed something, that this is not using a full city block. It's almost like we could make something more in the city block and then still have... Oh, wow, these look awful, these connections. Yeah, it's almost like we could put more into the city block and be happy. So why don't we try that? Like this, and then just flip it and go, huh. What do you know? We can just make it like this. And then it is exactly as we want it. There we go. We can do this. And we could also sort of balance it out here if we wanted to. And there we go. We need to get this started. And then once this one is also operational, then we are having the full setup here, the full LDS shuffle. And then the question becomes like, okay, so how much is it actually producing? Like is this, how many of these blocks do you need? And the answer is 1. We also I am kind of struggling with why it is not getting it. It's the plastic that's not circulating fast enough here. Maybe I should actually do this and this. I think that would actually be a little bit better because then it can be more dense on the belt. Yes, of course. Because this is using 88, and if I only put it in non-stacked on one belt, it would not be enough. So of course it has to be stacked on the belt. Obviously. And now we got it going, and we can see that more is coming out here as well. Right. The issue here, or how much is producing? Well, we are producing this one will be constantly working. That's 141. And if we take the 141 per second, and then we divide it by 4, because that's the loss rate in a recycler, and then we multiply it by how much copper we get for each recycle. That means we get 176 legendary copper per second. That's much. That's a lot. That's why we need to throw it out. And in terms of steel, then it is 0.5 for each recycle, which means we get 17.6 legendary steel per second. That 17.6 legendary steel per second, very nice, very, very nice. I don't think you need many more than that, and unless you decide to do, I don't know, legendary purple science, then you need more. So you can also see that there's less on the right hand side than on the left hand side, and the reason for that is that we are simply this one is not saturated yet. So this is not. Are they all working 100%? Yeah, they are working 100%. Ingredient shortage. Okay. This one seems to have a little bit of an issue with the output then. So why is it not able to output enough here? Is this also a problem for this one? A little bit though. A little bit. Maybe that could be improved. So a little improvement here. Now this one has 2 outputs and this one has 2 outputs, and that works because we're going to go down here. And we also have now these 2. So we shouldn't see any of these being stuck on stone. Correct. And that means this one should never be getting any output shortage. This is unable to process this fast enough. It's a little bit strange that it's not able to process this fast enough, but we could just do like that, which is not a big deal. That will process it faster, but it's, yeah, this is the problem. It's actually unable to output fast enough onto this belt, like this. I don't know if we can do that. The question is, would that be better if we sort of went away from this and just go like this? Because then not everything would be stacked, but it would certainly not be, yeah, it wouldn't stack everything. Let's see if this one works better. So there's a new configuration here, which is actually much better. So what I'm doing is I now have 8 of these, and they each consolidate 2 of them into a single belt. So that means we have 4 belts outbound. We're going to be filtering it out here so that half of it can go in here. You can see there's a little bit of stutter, and then we put the copper in here, and we put the steel down here, and recirculate. So this is basically a much nicer pattern here, because it is nothing is stalling. Everything is up here. Like this one would be nice to say, okay, it says output full sometimes, rarely, but it doesn't seem like it's stockpiling. So we're gonna convert the other one to the same format, and then that should be it. So here we have the final build. As you can see, it is pretty dense, the amount of stuff that is flowing here. We could also just it's always like this. There you go. We can do this, so it'll be more even, and this will definitely work. And even in this case, where if it's for some reason not 100% active, we've been just producing so much resources. Like this is 17.6 legendary steel per second. So even if it's only working less than 100%, and we maybe only get like 15, I'm sure this is going to be fine. And if nothing else, you just make another one. But this is neatly wrapped up in a single city block, and all it needs to do is you need to remember to do this one. This one I've also made it a lava maker for LDS shuffle, and then the blueprint as we have designed it here. Those are of course available to patron supporters as usual, so if you are a patron supporter, you can just snatch those blueprints up and plug it into your own base, and then you have all of the legendary copper and steel you could ever want. And there is of course a chance that this will be nerfed in 2.1, but who knows when 2.1 is there, and who knows if they get they're nerfing it. Either way, it is certainly valuable as long as it lasts. And that sort of concludes most of the things we want to do for the legendary stuff. There are a number of things we want to... well, there are lots more legendary stuff we want to make for a fully legendarized base. But those are planet-specific things that we'll be going into in the next episodes. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, take care. and stay effective.